Senate Bill 303, a headlong rush into the destruction of the taxpayer Bill of Rights, holding as leverage over the people of Colorado the fact that property taxes are running away and will be taxing them out of their homes. 303 presents the proposition that the only way to solve this is to kill the taxpayer Bill of Rights. I disagree completely. There is an alternative pathway before us. We could call a special session and actually deal with the issue of runaway property taxes caused by the repeal of Gallagher. There were some of us who stood in the well when we released that to the people, and the people did vote for that, not necessarily completely understanding the consequence, voted against that, saying it would price people out of their homes. Earlier this session, a Republican senator, one from, we like to joke, North Peltonia, brought a bill, 1054, he was the Senate sponsor on it, that would have frozen the existing property tax rates for 2 years while we worked through a pathway out of this property tax crisis we are in today. It was rejected. It was rejected in pursuit of a pathway that could back the people of Colorado into a corner that would force them, in order to get a modicum, a sliver, a little bit of property tax relief, to give up much of, if not most of, immediately, the refunds due to them under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, and over the next several years to completely destroy, eliminate the value of tax returns to the people that is inherent in the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. So Senate Bill 303 is billed as, it was first billed as a tax cut, if you can believe it. Laughable. A small decrease in the increase of property taxes is not a tax cut. Well, that message went away fairly quickly because it was obvious that it was a laughable suggestion. Yet it remains a limitation on refunds due to the people under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, and not even more than a 50% reduction in the rate of increase that people are suffering on their property taxes. There are pathways out. Freezing would be a simple answer. Just pause the rates where they are. There is under consideration, and we're doing some development right now with the fiscal analysts here in the Legislative Counsel office, alternative ways of looking at this, where we could actually get a rate reduction for residential owners. The rate proposed in one analysis was 6.2%. That would be an 11% decrease in the current rate for homeowners, and a commensurate decrease for commercial or non-residential property. The math associated with that is challenging. It would require a small investment from the general fund. It would require a small investment, but far less than the giving away of, the consumption of, the killing of $10 billion in tax refunds to the people of Colorado over the next 10 years, which 303 takes from the people of Colorado. The challenge inherent in this bill is the Taxpayer Bill of Rights creates a line on a graph above which refunds are defined due to the people. Referendum C bent that curve up a little bit. Referendum HH, which this bill would refer to the people, bends the curve up even more, and that's what eliminates over time the Taxpayer Bill of Rights refunds due to people. But that's not the most offensive part of the bill. The most challenging and offensive part of this bill is it tells the people, you must, in many ways, vote against your own self-interest by passing through this Proposition HH if you have any desire, any hope of tax relief. That is an unacceptable answer. For the literary among us, it's Damocles' sword hanging over the taxpayer's head, saying, the sword will fall and cleave your head from your shoulders. Tax, that being, the metaphor being property taxes running away to the point that you can't afford. If you aren't willing to give up a substantial portion of your taxpayer Bill of Rights refund in the current year and all of it over time. I have a limited amount of time here to talk through this, and so I won't go into the details of the other elements. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at on time. Another 15, 20 minutes?
Are you asking if you are over the 5 minutes that you agreed to? Or
well, I guess that would be one way.
Or under the 1 hour that's allowed in the rules.
Fair enough. Let me.
The answer is yes to both questions.
So, fair enough. Let me just summarize by saying this. There is a pathway forward, a better pathway forward that I believe we all could come together on. And instead of moving through this bill, which is now 1 week old in its consideration through both chambers, 1 week we've had this bill. Not one Republican senator, not one Republican representative laid their eyes on this bill more than a week ago. And yet we have ideas that are valuable to the conversation. We have ideas that I believe if we let iron sharpen iron, we could get to a better answer, a better policy answer. And the pathway to that is to call a special session. Mr. Governor, I ask that you call a special session so that we may directly and conclusively provide property tax relief to the people of Colorado without requiring them to give up the refunds due them under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights that they are properly owed. Mr. President, thank you for the time.